Welcome back
Hello,
to the Van and Dan show.
Walking Bullbaits. Walking Bullbaits. We're here for some good out ethics fun.
We are always here for some out ethics fun.
Let's dev tea this shit. I heard that recently. I hadn't heard that one. That one had not come up recently. I'd forgotten all about developed traffic.
Developed traffic.
Oh boy.
When something dev tea in Scientology, it means it's like a hassle. Like
it's a real thing. You know, children do it all the time. Pets too, where they get under your feet and they're in your way and they don't need to be. But
and you're like, this is dev tea.
That's dev tea, right? The dog is dev tea all the time, but you forgive her.
Yeah, so dev tea is anything you have to do. So it's developed traffic, and you it's the dev tea,
isn't it? It's like this stuff though. You kind of put it gets in other people's way, and then you're accused of being. You're told you're being dev tea because you're in somebody else's way, right?
Yeah, you're dev tea if you're now something on their to-do list that
right.
want.
Oh yes, and I was on everybody's to-do.
Were you? That sounds
do him in. No, I don't know. No, you know, I thought I grew up feeling very much a stranger in my own environment.
For sure.
All right, so if Danny ain't got a job, why can't he prove it?
Everybody who didn't see our stream with Dodge Landisman, go to Danny's channel and watch it because it is really funny and good. In
the comments, I like to make fun of my sort of ignorance and naivete about certain things. So like, I don't know like half the conversations. And so there's comments about things and I don't know what's going on, what the arguments are. And there's all this like Discord, deep Reddit, whatever, super blog, the oubliettes of Reddit. I don't know what's going on, but somebody called up yo. And so this person, whatever, Danny ain't got a job. And the what really struck me about it was the username was Danny ain't got a job. No, if Danny had a job, and the comment was, why can't he prove it? And I just got distracted by that. And so I just imagined my own scenario because I don't know what's really going on with Danny.
Well,
and Solomon. Solomon was a name thrown in there.
They said it 85 times.
Oh, yeah. He kept coming back with it.
You're like, so, I get it.
I wrote a song. If Danny ain't got a job, or if Danny got a job, why can't he prove it? So I wrote a fucking song, which is funny to me. And the Danny in my song, though, is a homeless busker who can't prove he has a job. You see, that's why he can't prove it. That's why he can't prove he got a job, because he's a homeless busker. That's not a job you can really prove. There's not really paperwork for homelessness. That's really the only benefit.
Yeah.
No paperwork.
It's a good benefit. No paperwork, no bills, no paperwork. Cash only.
But you're so hungry, you might eat a dog. Oh.
Okay.
I want to joke about this so bad because it's the most ridiculous thing. It's the most ridiculous thing anyone's ever fucking said. And the old grandpa moment of, but there's people on the TV. I saw people on the TV said that somebody ate the dog. It's so sad. It's so sad.
That wasn't even a debate. It was like just a shit show.
She actually did a little bit of doing what you're supposed to do, which is actually putting forth your platform. Here's my plan. Here's my platform. You're supposed to be debating that. You're supposed to be debating the saliency of your plans and your platforms, not personality traits and who's leaving whose rally or who's not going to whose rally or who's doing what at the rally. What a child that he jumped on that one. Oh, nobody's leaving my rallies. What a moron. He lacks the temperament. And my comment that I thought was super bipartisan to just say, not about the politics, just about the personalities, because that's apparently all that matters to most people. Every time she said we, he said me. And that, I think, is a point to make. I think that fucking matters. And it's just weird to me how people don't. Some people don't. And then some people want to yell at me or get mad at me for talking at all. Like, just because I sing, I'm not allowed to have a political opinion. in a country where everybody and their mother is shoving their goddamn political opinion in your face every time you turn around. Somehow, me and Taylor Swift just got to shut up and sing.
Oh, you're taking it personally, what they're saying about Taylor.
He actually said that to me on that thread. On the thread where I said the me thing.
Wow.
One guy was like, stick to covers. And I was like, stick to being a jackass.
What a dick.
So yeah. Me versus we, right? Thank you, Crafts. That matters, right? Mm-hmm. She's the only one out there talking in the collective, and that's what we need. That's the difference between a leader and a boss. This argument has been going on for a long time about whether or not businessmen would make better presidents, and obviously not, because a businessman is self-serving, first of all, and it's always about the bottom line. And governing isn't about that. Sometimes you spend money because it's the right thing to do, because you need something, not because it's cost efficient. You know, the Republicans don't understand the notion of, and Donald Trump certainly doesn't understand the notion of public service. The president is a public servant. Could you imagine him trying to wrap his head around that idea? To be of service to somebody other than himself? Nah, he has no idea. No idea.
Yeah, that was rough. It was just so rough to watch. They needed to do better muting when it wasn't someone's turn, because there was a lot of rebuttals.
That was part of the setup, was that there was going to be like they were going to mute the mics when they felt like it was appropriate, and with somebody, and you saw how they were both like, I have something I want to. Okay, burning desire. What we call in the rooms burning desire. So he had a burning desire to defend himself, and the head counted his stupid rallies. So he did.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever. It's stupid now to like be saying any of this, because most of us, or a lot of us, knew all of this 8, 10, 12, 16, 30 years ago. He's been showing himself to be a selfish little brat since I was a child. You know, he's more, you know, so it's not like any of this is new. And just whatever. The fact that, the other great moment was we have a concept of a plan.
Yeah, there was a lot of moments that I was like, whoa. Even the fact that he took out the full page ad for the death penalty for those boys who ended up not even being guilty. Crazy.
He did that, and he did that for no reason. Like, there's not even a real reason for him to have done that. That wasn't a political move. That was just him. It was before he was even doing this shit.
So crazy. So wild.
That's what it was.
Friday the 13th, everybody.
Ooh. So I should hide
celebrating.
The dog. So hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your dog. It's Friday the 13th. Crazy things are going to happen.
All the dogs.
Yeah, the world is run by antsy dogs.
I have to work super late tonight. I hope nothing too crazy happens.
Oh, I had some woman scream at me at the park the other day. I take Raven out at night, and we go to several different places where we can throw the ball, run around with the ball. I throw the ball, she chase the ball, you know, it's ball, catch, fetch, whatever. And one of the places we go is the kid park that's inside Prospect Park, because it's fenced in. So we can go in there and there's nobody in there at night, and we're fenced in. I can throw the ball and it doesn't matter where it goes. And I won't lose the ball. Most likely, I certainly won't lose her. And it's dark. It's night. She's a black dog. I have to keep an eye on her. And we did lose a ball the other day. And so then a couple days later, we were just walking through the park in the afternoon, and I thought, I'll just go look and see if I can see it in the day of light. But there were some women with some strollers in the park. So I wasn't going to go in. And then they left the park. Then they came out of the park. So then I went in the park to just take a quick look around. And then the women who had left the park, one of them came back into the park to tell me I'm not supposed to be in the park. Because you're not. If you don't have a kid with you, you're not supposed to be in the kid park. It's a good rule. I said, I know, I'm sorry. I was just looking for a ball we lost the other night. And I left the park. But then she continued to yell at me about it. She continued to tell me that I wasn't allowed in the park at night and at all. And I'm like, no, at night when there's, and I thought she misunderstood. I was like, no, at night when there's nobody here. I'm not the only one. Like, other people do bring their dogs here because it's fenced in and there's no dog run in Prospect Park.
Yeah.
And she just kept yelling at me about it. And then I'm outside the park by now, you realize. And I said to her, like, look, you got what you wanted. I acquiesced. I agree. I'm not supposed to be there. I've left the park. And then she pivots the argument to the dog. Now suddenly the dogs aren't allowed in the park. because they get up on the equipment and pee on it. At which point I lost my patience and I said, I know, right? And imagine all the raccoons running around her all night, pissing all over everything. And she goes, are you serious? And I said, are you? I just like, it's so bizarre to me. Like New Yorkers, especially, they have this like love of yelling at strangers. If they feel like they have any excuse to yell at you, they are going to lean in as hard as they can. And it's fucking nuts to me. And I thought I was being super patient, just going, you're right. I'm out. I'm leaving, walking out, not complaining, not arguing.
That wasn't enough.
But that wasn't enough for her. She wanted what? She wanted fealty. She wanted me to bend the knee. She wanted me to beg her forgiveness or something. I don't know. But she wanted more than just acquiescence, because I gave her that and it wasn't enough.
Crazy.
So can I blame that on Osa? Osa did it. She's an Osa plant. She's a bad actor.
She's a bad actor.
She's a horrible person.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had a horrible idea.
What?
What if we tell the Scientologists that L. Ron Hubbard made it to Target 2, and what he discovered was that, okay, wait, first I have to ask you this. What I remember is that there was a galactic war, intergalactic war, and we were the losers of that war. And that's why we were sent here as a punishment. But then Prison Planet, right. And then I saw somewhere recently the narrative presented as though it was a population issue. Like Xenu was worried about overpopulation, and that's why he stuck us into Earth. Which is correct, because that's the Thanos origin story, not for nothing.
I read both as well, and I think there is online. You could just read OT3. It's in there.
I've vowed not to actually reread. I have already vowed not to actually reread any of this shit, not for nothing, Vanessa. But I'm annoyed at how much
OT3 is like the crazy.
It's the one. I know. I realize. I remember. It's funny now in hindsight, remembering like when my sister did OT3. And how she very much started getting weird after that. You know what I mean? Like in hindsight, now I'm like, oh yeah, she was bugged by something. Something was bugging her. Now I think I know what it was.
Oh my God, it was the body thetans.
So what's OT5 then? What do you learn on OT5? It sounds like you blow your wad on OT3.
Okay, so a Scientology story that really affected me this week because it keeps coming up. And there's a court case about it. Did you read about Whitney Mills's death?
No. You have to tell me. Who knows about Whitney Mills?
That died by SUICIDE, and she lit herself on fire. And she was diagnosed by a Scientology doctor as having cancer, which she didn't have upon autopsy. And she was also diagnosed as having Lyme disease. And there's all these texts of her between her and Dr. Minkoff about, because he was
the Minkoffs are back.
He was involved in Lisa McPherson too. So he already got suspended. So she was writing him like, I need help. I'm depressed. Like, do you have anything for my mental? And the shit he wrote back was like, don't worry, you're OT. You have a friend in Ron, and people love you. You'll be fine. Just postulate. Like crazy medical practice. It was really fucked up. So her mom is suing, and I'm really happy to hear that because, that's crazy. But she was a successful real estate agent in Clearwater.
And then it makes you crazy. And then when you turn to it for answers, it ain't got none.
Yeah, I think she got in by herself too, like as an adult.
I'm so sorry.
And then she went all the way to OT7.
Yeah, OT7's killing themselves. That's the kind of thing I wouldn't believe when I was a kid if you told me that. OT7s aren't gonna do such things. They're better than that, right?
How is he not in prison is absolutely right. It's like
the Minkoff doctor.
And then bro.
And then his daughter is on
The Real Housewives.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It's such a wild world.
Oh, baby, it's a wild world.
Your hair is long.
Yeah. I can't see it, but I mean, my hair used to be down to my waist. I used to have hair like crazy long.
But yeah, it was not as curly and pretty.
Yeah. Your mother kept good care of my hair.
Yeah, very silky and soft.
She knew what to do. Okay, so here's the joke: is that we tell the Scientologist that he made it to Target 2, and the new thing is to abandon the mission because he's discovered that Xenu wasn't actually imprisoning us; he was actually protecting us from something even worse. That there's something the Target 2 is even worse. That whatever isn't here, as bad as it is on Earth, it's even worse where he ended up. And now it's like, whoa, back up, folks. Right. Xenu, and that was the joke. Well, Xenu's your friend. He brought you here to keep you safe. Put that on a sign.
I've always wanted a t-shirt that says Xenu is my homeboy.
Xenu's my bitch.
Wow, you're not getting saved in this intergalactic war now after that statement.
Damn. Xenu, forgive me.
On this prison planet.
Forgive them, Xenu. They know not what they do.
Hail Xenu, I guess. That's our
Xenu's my homeboy. That's it.
It's pretty funny. I don't know. They might believe it. They're pretty open to believing things.
Well, yeah, they're very susceptible people. They've shown themselves. They're very susceptible to crazy talk. They've shown themselves shown themselves to be that, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So, crazy. And then what's okay? Do you want to talk about is it Limp Bizkit? No, Linkin Park. No, wait, what is it again?
It's Linkin Park. Well, just because
is it Nickelback? Wait, Nickelback. Nickelback? Is it Nickelback?
No, not Nickelback. Not Creed. Not
Creed. Don't even say Creed. Oh my God, you have no idea how much I can't stand that guy.
I know he's the worst.
No, just that's personal. I just don't like it.
Well, Aaron's made like 8 fucking videos about Emily joining Linkin Park. So it's just another one of those moments where it's like surreal because someone who you grew up with is now super famous. And like Emily grew up on the ranch. She was a cadetter and she's still an active Scientologist as far as I know. As well as a member of the LGBTQ community.
How is she doing this? How did she grow up in the dungeon, not reject the dungeon and be gay and still what? But I don't know. Has she said anything in defense or in denial of her Scientology yet?
No.
So yeah, she's not speaking.
But she made like a bullshit apology for going to support Danny Masterson.
Yeah, I saw that, bud. Yeah, I saw that. I saw her bullshit.
Kind of insulting because she didn't.
And it's once again, I'm not apologizing to the victims here. I'm apologizing to victims in general. It's the same thing Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher did. They're not apologizing to any of the people they actually offended. They're just apologizing to the idea.
Yeah, but I mean, she probably just doesn't want to lose her family as well.
Yeah. I don't blame her for. I'm just wondering if Nickelback knew what they were getting into. I mean, Linkin Park knew what they were. If they knew what they were getting into, did they know that about her? Did they know that? I would like to know if they knew that and they were like,
I don't know. Aaron did a video called "Is Mike Shinoda a Scientologist?" and I haven't watched it yet, but I guess he was asking the same question, like maybe the other guy, the main guy, got involved in the church or something.
And then, as I understand it, the former lead singer who had also SUI cited himself, he had issues with being abused as a child, right? That was a lot of his damage, right? And so there's a real punch in the gut. And
his son is outraged.
Yeah, there's a real punch in the gut here. Of course, to Emily's stance, she doesn't believe that. She doesn't think any of those accusations are real, including Masterson's accusers. Yeah. So to her, it's just a bunch of liars and psych-induced, psychiatry-induced propaganda, whatever.
Drama.
I'm really surprised we haven't put psychiatry kills, or rather Scientology kills, on a t-shirt yet. Because remember their psychiatry kills? Remember they had that on a t-shirt? Mm-hmm. Why do we not have Scientology kills on a t-shirt? In the exact same font. Like find the exact same, make it look as much
Has it not been?
I don't know. I'm wondering. I want a shirt. If somebody makes the shirt Scientology kills, I will fucking rock that. I feel like
people have at least had shirts that say Scientology kills, but I don't know if it was in the same font.
But I mean, like, yeah, to directly reference the psychiatry kills shirts.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
We really
once we get up to like a certain level of, if we have enough subscribers and hours, then it gives us the option to have a merch shop, and it's like, it helps you make it though. Like, it's really sick, actually.
I think that's all I want to do. I think I got a lot of slogans I want to put on t-shirts. I think I can make a whole business. And Lamar's mom does this. She prints shirts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's convenient. I know somebody who actually does this. But yeah, I keep writing down things. I'm like, oh, that's funny. That's funny. And great little comments that to me like are double loaded. Like they mean something if you're to anybody, and then they mean something completely else to somebody who knows what we're talking about.
Like double entendres.
Yeah, the entendres are abound. Ha ha. I'm so amused with myself. Yes, entendre. I love it. I love an entendre.
I got some really nice response to last week's talk. Some people emailed me, and some people left comments, and they were like,
I got a direct message
watching you guys hang out, and it's like brother and sister, like it makes me feel happy, so that's cool.
Now I gotta
just like do our thing.
I love that we have our own thing now too, the Walking Bullbaits.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's an homage to our abuse.
I wanted to ask you kind of a weird question. As a pretty girl, do you identify? Do you self-identify as a pretty girl? Do you recognize that you are a pretty girl?
Sure.
Okay, some pretty girls don't know they're pretty. And do you find that you get a lot of unwanted male attention, the male gaze, as it were, like in this context of the sort of smashing the patriarchy kind of thing?
It depends on the environment you're in. And
well, I mean, like a lot of women
tailor my dress so that I don't get that kind of attention. Like I wear big baggy shirts and stuff because it is uncomfortable.
Okay. No, I just mean because I know that some women are just like over it. They're just sick of being looked at. And one of the things that kind of bugs me about it is in New York City at a certain time of the year, right about now, all the boots come out. All the ladies in New York City from all over the city, the boots come out. And when I was a bum on the streets sitting on the sidewalk watching the people walk by, I really noticed this. I really noticed the girls in their boots. Yeah. And so I have a tendency to kind of really notice women when they have their winter boots on. And often women will get mad at me like they think I'm trying to stare up their skirt. And it's one of these things that really drives me nuts. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I am not looking
at no, I like your shoes.
I'm like, I'm admiring the suede, baby. I'm not admiring the suede. Anyway, so, and I'm just like wondering, like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what to say about it. Like, how do you deal with that? Do you find that a problem? How do you deal with it? And I'm also thinking that in terms of the zero tone 40 guy, like that guy has a thing for you. Like that's part of his deal. That's why he picks on you.
He won't stop talking about me.
Right. And that's exactly what we do when we don't care. Right. That's like they don't like the Republicans don't care about Taylor Swift supporting Kamala Harris because I don't really care, but that's why they keep going on about it because they don't care.
They keep talking about it.
They can't stop.
No, I think it's there's a lot of male attention, even just walking through a grocery store, and you just kind of like are used to it and numb to it, I guess. There's like vibes being thrown sometimes, especially like if I'm wearing shorts or something that's like slightly revealing, then it's like game on, and I just have to be in my own world. But,
and then in LA too, I feel like in LA it must be
for sure. LA though, like when I worked in Hollywood and I would be able to wear whatever I wanted, that was definitely fun. Like I didn't feel like a freak dressing like a freak, you know?
Amen to that. Amen to that.
But I also work in hospitality. So what I find super annoying is if people are there with their significant other and they're vibing to you.
That's I don't mind that.
Yeah. You don't mind?
I don't mind getting hit on by couples. Oh, no.
Oh my God, it always creeps me out.
I used to get hit on by couples all the time. I used to do a lot of couples counseling sex prompts.
Oh my God.
Because couples who are like taking home some dude they met in a bar, they're working through something, you see?
Yeah. That's crazy.
And usually one of them's into uppers and the other one's into downers, which leaves me in a fucked up place. But you know what he did. This is all in the past. All in the past. All in the past.
That's crazy.
don't mind the man behind the curtain.
It's all gone.
Right. No, but that's it's just I wonder about that because then Alex and the joke about his CSW. I wonder how you take that. Like, is that you know what I mean? Or you know, Dodge probably like, well, you know, it just seems to me.
The thing is, I'm pretty nice. I don't really like ever think people are trying to get with me until they're like, so we're together, right?
Until they're on top of you, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, what happened?
Wait, we are? I thought we were homies.
I had no idea. No. Did you call my mother? Your father said it was okay. No, I just wonder because like I have a lot, and I also have a lot of.
She answered your question here. I worked at the mall in college, have men telling me go home and change clothes. Yeah, that's pretty fucking rude.
What is that?
Yeah. The patriarchy. Yeah, no, it's
when I lost weight too, I want to say this to Craftsmates made a comment about losing weight and how suddenly that really changed. And I found that the same as well. When I was really heavy for a long time and then I lost a whole lot of weight. And it was really interesting to me how much men really, but women too, but how much more people were looking at me like that than I had noticed than ever before.
Yeah.
And when I first came to New York,
it is flirty.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. In a lot of gay communities too, like between men, sometimes just eye contact is considered flirtation. So you don't really, this is a great joke that in amongst men and mammals, prolonged eye contact is taken as either a challenge or a come on.
Yeah.
And I joke that coming from me, it's both.
I like it. Well, that goes to say the Scientology eyes, like we had to train ourselves, to not have Scientology eyes because, you know, that's like a thing.
Well, just relax, you know, that's all it takes, really.
I just have to look away sometimes when people are talking. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to make eye contact the whole time. This isn't my childhood.
Yeah, when I got heavy, I became invisible to men. I'm sorry, what'd you say? This isn't what? It's your childhood?
Oh, like with eye contact, sometimes I have to remind myself to like look away.
No, it's funny. And I've noticed that too. A little enforced eye contact. I think I have a habit of doing too, where I'll like hold people's eye contact longer than they're comfortable with for no reason other than I can.
Yeah.
Other than I have the confront to do it.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, can be intimidating, I guess.
I always forget his fucking name, but there's this comedian who is a friend of Opie and Anthony, who's on that, used to be on their show a lot, who was on that show one time when I was on there and I met him. And he's a really nice guy. And Jim, but I can't remember his last name. He's married to a trans woman. And he told a story about his grandfather. Is his grandfather and his grandmother, right, who were married for like 60 years. When they first met, she didn't like him. And he kind of pestered her. Now, this is like way back in the 30s or something. This is a long 2 generations ago when that was charming. And the point of his story is he's telling it is like by today's standards, he would be considered a sex pest. And to him, that's a beautiful story that she didn't like him and he didn't give up. He liked her so much. He didn't give up. And she, you know, they forged a relationship. They fell in love. They got married. They were together for a shit long time.
Yeah.
So how do we differentiate the sweet boy who just doesn't know how to say no or take no for an answer and a sex pest? Is there a difference?
I think boundaries are super important, and we're not taught them growing up in a cult. So we had to educate ourselves about boundaries.
Oh, yes.
And like making a differentiation between you and the outside world and like what can get in. So having
what's allowed, the idea of just understanding that you have my purse, keep it on the eye, that I have a right to say, oh, I don't allow this.
Yeah.
It's just because I can tolerate it or just because I can confront it doesn't mean I have to allow it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Learning that.
No, totally. For me, it's very frustrating. Like, I wish that guy would stop talking about me. I wish I hadn't dropped my restraining order because I just stopped showing up to court because it was like taking a lot of time and energy. But dude is still talking about me, and I'm like, okay, bro, like move the fuck on. And it's super annoying. But
and then for me, it's especially bizarre because like I just learned that this exists. So to understand that there's already a fucking counter, there's already some sort of like
a counter movement,
right? Some sort of subculture of haters have already we just barely got here.
I know. There's a lot that have turned though. They're like used to be part of the crew and like it all, and now they're like, fuck them, and they went over to the literal dark side.
And this is all because Aaron's an asshole. No. I don't know. I think Aaron's just fine. I think Aaron is exactly who he should be. I don't know who else. I don't know what anybody expects him to be or do other than what he is being and doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't expect Aaron to be any more than less than he is.
Yeah.
Like, tell me if this is an over thing. Tell me this is an over thing because I did watch something with him and Jenna Miscavige the other day, and I commented and I called L. Ron Hubbard Ronnie specifically to be disrespectful, right? Little Ronnie's in a lot of trouble over there in Target too, right? That was my joke, something like that. And he read the comment. And I don't know, and I don't think it was intentional, but he did read the Ron. He read Ronnie as Ron.
Oh.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is he subconsciously being just a little respectful there? Or by you know what I mean? Or does he get that I was being disrespectful by calling him Ronnie?
He probably also didn't want to say Ronnie.
I don't know. I feel like we should all be saying it as much as possible. Like, I think or whatever. That's the point of it. Like, one of the things that's such a fuck up about Scientology being identified as a religion is you're not allowed to talk about it. At least when you're in a religion, people have, big brain conversations about religion. You're not even allowed to talk about Scientology. Do you know what I mean? You're not even allowed to talk about it because all the details are secret and it's all, cloak and dagger shit. So yeah, Ronnie and Davey, thank you. Yes.
Mr.
Lafayette. Lafayette. That's what my brother calls him. Brother Jim always calls him Lafayette. But there's another one.
So, you guys didn't do your show this week, did you?
He's a bitch.
Too interpolated.
I just think he's making too much of it. I think he's like making too much.
What did he say?
He just didn't, I don't want to. Yeah, I can pull up the text and right. What did he say? I don't remember exactly what he said, but he just didn't want to do it. He was tired and all that. But then we're talking on the phone, and about 10 minutes into the conversation, I'm like, this is all I'm asking you to do. It's just that we do this on the computer instead of on the phone. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we're gonna sit here and talk anyway. Why not just do it online just to, put this stuff out there? And I don't know. I think it's a good idea. And I don't know why exactly, but I do. So I don't really, I'm not completely convincing because I don't really have a focused actual, like, why do I want to do this? I don't know exactly. I just know that I do.
I think it's good to keep as a historic record and part of the movement and part of us processing shit. Maybe there's people watching who are under the radar.
Yeah, I hope so. That's certainly my hope. I like to think there's people, misfits out there who might relate to us and go, okay, so these guys aren't weird, you know, and especially any of the ex-Scientologists who still kind of smell like Scientologists. I think they might appreciate those of us who don't as much. If I can be so bold as to even say that, I don't even know if that's true. Maybe I stink of Scientology too. I don't know. But I certainly can't give her the goddamn language. Somebody was talking shit about that too. Like, I guess there are people who talk in Scientology-ese, like, and they think they're speaking another language or something. I don't know. And I suppose you could do that. You could certainly talk over people's heads. But again, I didn't learn the sort of like, I was a victim of it, but I didn't learn how to do the more manipulative shit. I didn't learn how to do the devious shit. I didn't know you could lie. I didn't know you could lie to the auditor.
I like this. They're definitely under the radar Scientologists watching. I know for a fact a couple because they've written. So it's always good.
And there are a couple of particular people I'd be interested. I would love to hear from.
Yeah.
Good people I've seen.
Did BFG give you a little Davy? Has Daniel seen one? I did not get a little Davy. No, BFG has not given me one, but I should order one. That would be fun. Have you seen him, Danny?
No, I have not seen.
It's a little Davy from the Navy.
Well, I know that Natalie has a Davy doll that she bangs around on her whenever she's talking to Osa. Probably. Wake up, Osa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably the same one. They made one. I had somebody sent me a Mike Rinder bobblehead, which was cool. And then Marilyn knitted like a Xenu costume for it. I could put that up behind me.
There should be more Xenu costumes. Amen.
It's like crocheted.
Right. Okay. Crafts says of the conversation with me and Jamie that would sound like a debate. We needed a moderator because of his "Is it true?"
Yeah.
The "Is it true?" thing is hilarious to me, and I find myself saying it. I was saying it to you the other day. Is it true? Is it true? Because it's all out. I don't know. Whatever.
Somebody wrote me and they were like, I'm glad you guys talked about that because it was so uncomfortable to watch. It felt like they were demonstrating auditing. And
it felt like a sec check. Yeah. It felt like a sec check. It really did.
I don't know what that was bizarre. Is it true?
He certainly kept repeating the auditing question.
Yeah. I'm just going to casually say, is it true?
Is it true? And it reminds me of when I told you the thing about, is it safe? Or confess from Game of Thrones. That woman in Game of Thrones, confess. That's what it reminds me of. It's creepy shit. Ooh. Wait, who's BFG? Is that blown for good?
Yeah,
no, it's blown for life. I thought it was blown for life.
Good.
Oh, it's blown for good. Not blown for life.
No. There's a book called Fit for Life. That's a good old Scientology read.
I actually read this book. I actually read Mark's book. I think Jamie sent it to me. Somebody sent it to me. It was very Michael Crichton. It felt like a Michael Crichton.
Yeah. It was action packed.
As much as it could be. Yeah. There was a big motorcycle race in the desert. As I recall. I suppose I need to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. I'm scared.
Who?
Mark.
Oh.
I'm a jerk. Exactly. I'm supposed to talk to him.
Are you gonna like do it on his show?
I guess so. I think that's the idea.
Oh, cool.
I told him. Cool. He came on the thread and I was like, well, let's do that. Just, I said to him, contact me. He hasn't contacted me, but that's the passive aggressive. You do it. I'll go as long as you do it. Well, you do it. No, you do it. No, you do it. No, you do it.
It's funny because we got you hooked up with Dodge pretty quick. You were like, oh, who's that? Like,
I didn't even know who Dodge was. Like, it's so funny to me now. I have a little idea of who he is, but I don't even know who he is. And other people that I know who watch were like, oh my God, you talked to Dodge. Like, Dodge is this and that. They knew who he was. And he was like, oh, okay, he's Dodge. You know? I don't know if he was amused by that or annoyed by that, but I did not know who he was. I didn't know his story. Yeah. He seemed amused.
I had completely forgotten it too. He had to walk me through it again. I was like, oh shit, yeah, you're the reporter who actually got fired for.
And this is the story. And this is the story we've all heard. And I realized later I think I've heard that story before, but I didn't know who it was. And it was a long time ago, as I recall. But it was when Lisa Marie Presley died. And then I don't know Danny and Solomon. He threw a bunch of names at me, and I was like, I don't know who any of those people are.
Those are the kids out there protesting.
Oh, they're the protesters. Oh, see, now I feel bad. I thought they were jerks. I thought he was saying that they were jerks.
I thought he was those are like his homies, but there were trolls in there talking about the homies. Okay, talking about his homies.
All right. I don't know. See, I don't know I don't take sides, so I rarely understand who is on which side.
Well,
I have a tendency not to take sides.
There shouldn't be any sides.
Certainly not here. When we have a common goal, there should not be sides. But it's the same thing in our American politics. We technically all have the common goal. We are all on the same side, actually, but we play the game. We play the game like we're enemies.
Yeah, it's true. I want to see what this is what Treasure Book said. I have a weird story that involves Scientology as part of a larger weird context that resulted in an under the radar person getting coaxed to big up Scientology on a news report. Oh, interesting. Treasure Book, tell us more.
All right, tell us more. Can we just send invitations to people? We should just invite people. Put it in the chat. No, I'm kidding. Were you
watching when we used to do like huge chats on Aaron's channel and there'd be like 8 of us on there?
I've seen a couple where like John had a bunch of women from Australia on all at once one night. Like I've seen a couple of examples of that where there's a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I was joking we should put the invite link in the chat so that just anybody could just join.
Yeah. We're like, oh, welcome.
That would get full up real fast.
Yeah, it'd get pretty loud probably.
How I found out Scientology is creepy as fuck. And yeah, I like that spelling Scientology with the money sign. That's a good idea too. Keep that up. Keep that up.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
I figure here's what we have. I figure this is what we have to do. Lenny Bruce, who is a comedian I had on my t-shirt last week, who's a hero of mine, is not afraid. Lenny Bruce is not afraid. And Lenny Bruce is unfortunately probably most famous for the legal troubles that he was in, more than the art that he contributed to the world. But he said cocksucker. He said cocksucker in a public place in a nightclub, and he was arrested for that under profanity laws that existed at the time. And he spent almost the rest of his life fighting the federal government over this, and all of that resulted in a Supreme Court ruling that legally defines profanity. Similarly, there was a Supreme Court ruling over pornography in relation to a photographer named Mapplethorpe. So what we need is something that gets to the Supreme Court that nails down a definitive definition of religion. So that we can identify Scientology as not actually a religion.
Well, it's crazy that the ones who are calling it the religion is actually just the IRS.
Right, exactly. So that's insane that the IRS is making this call.
They don't have the capability to make that call.
And they shouldn't. They shouldn't have the authority to. Even if they're extending a tax credit or break to a religion, they have no authority to decide what is or isn't. If just anybody can come along and claim they're a religion, what does that mean? I just think if we had because that's what we don't have is a legal definition of what is religion. And in particular, in the case of the Mapplethorpe case, it was about differentiating sex in, for a titillation's purpose, pornography, as being different from graphic sexual imagery and art. Like that's the specific argument in that case. And that's what we're talking about is differentiating religion from cult and having those definitions in a legal sense as decided by whatever. And the Supreme Court right now is totally conservative stacked. So they will totally be into like protecting their religion from being muddied by dirty cults. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got balloons for that. So, hey, I have no idea if that's just something that the program does randomly or if there's somebody doing that, but it's so funny. Yes, it's also
certain hand signals. It does things.
Yes. Wait. Witness is responding to the stuff I'm saying here. Right. So he challenged freedom of speech. Right. And because I'm saying the result of that was that we have the Supreme Court had to define profanity in a way that we had not previously. Oh wait, sorry, this is not the same context. Elaborate.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. This is what I wanted to read. I'm sorry. There's a larger public issue. Scientology is a public nuisance and abuse. It's
your hand gestures. What hand gestures was it?
Breaking the law for the sake of religion is wrong. But see, the problem is that the law isn't allowed to define the business of religion, whether it's breaking the law or not, because it's not even allowed sometimes to investigate what the religion's doing because they're protected.
Yeah.
So it's all ass backwards kind of conversation. And all of it is because these people who are not this organization, this for-profit organization that is not a religion, is getting these protections that it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
People stopped doing panels, says Jen Sal, because YouTube got mad.
Yeah, I remember it because they basically wouldn't, if it was on multiple channels, they wouldn't let you monetize it or something. So
this real quick, Mr. Anderson is asking me about the proposed Los Angeles ordinance for protesters near locations such as churches and schools. I think is also included in this thing. I think it's un-American. I think it's evil. I think it's stupid. But I think it's actually what made me think they've got to stop being able to call themselves a religion. You know what I mean? Like, there's lots of reasons why you want to keep certain things a distance from a school or a church, sure. Mm-hmm. But they don't deserve that protection, in my opinion. And that's certainly, and we all know better than to think that that's what they're asking for. They're not doing this because they're looking for a protection. They're doing this because they don't want to have to own up to the accusations being thrown at them. She's right. This is a good question. And friends of mine ask me all the time, like, how do they get away with this stuff? Right? Abuse is abuse, right? Mm-hmm. Or, being held against your will is, against the law. Trafficking, moving minors across state lines, all this stuff is against the law in any other context. But why? I don't know. That's a question. Why do they get away with this? I do not know.
It's upsetting, to be honest. I don't know why the government doesn't do more.
But this is part of my point, Crafts, is that in a genuine religion, there is an actual salient conversation about why that is. In Scientology, there is none. And they pretend that the workforce, their slave labor force, is like that, is like just nuns and priests working for the church. But it's not like that. They're renovating buildings, they're doing construction, they're not just cleaning up. You know what I mean? Like nuns basically, their job, what they do is just keep the nunnery, keep the place where they live clean and cook their own meals and do their own laundry.
It's not like they're in the hole. Some of them were in the freaking hole.
Yeah. They're not doing labor for other people.
Yeah.
And they're certainly not being thrown in the hole yet.
I mean, some of the nuns, they make candles and stuff to support the churches, but it's definitely a different situation. I think Scientologists are mostly like atheists.
I have a lovely scarf knitted by nuns. It was given to me at Christmas time, that I still have. And it's lovely. It's really soft. It's really nicely knit. It almost seems like cashmere, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Love you, brother. Soda dispenser.
Speaking of witness, she said, in my opinion, the government must do more. There are LDS marrying children into polygamous families. Parents' religion is abuses of the children's rights, in my opinion. Yeah, no, for sure. There's quite a few religions that don't.
Well, I remember this coming up.
The law and
there was a case when I was young about Christian scientists who don't believe in doctors, and there was a child who was ill, and a social worker had witnessed that the child was sick and needed medical attention, and so the authorities went in and took the child and got the child medical attention, and then there was a big hoopla about this supposed, religious right, that they have a religious right to they have a religious right to refuse, to not believe in something, but I don't think they have a religious right to deny their child a basic necessity. right? If they didn't believe in food and they stopped feeding their children,
I think it was like a blood transplant or something like that. Like it's something that they don't allow specifically.
No, I'm sure there's been cases like that as well, because that's a more kind of finite, that's a more specific argument, because that's going above and beyond just basic life-saving medical attention. I think the case we're talking about was basic life-saving medical attention. It was emergency medical attention, not like transfuse. That's a more of a, a bigger narrative. But either way, I'm pretty sure like we don't let the parents of Christian Scientists just let their kids wither away if they're sick. I'm pretty sure we do something I don't know. Do they just the government intervene in those situations? I don't know. What was the result of that argument? I don't know.
Anata says there's some audio feedback. I wonder why.
It's probably
you have all your stuff on.
I think. I don't. It's all doing what I think it's supposed to be doing.
Well, I don't know either. I think everything's normal on my side.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. I was waiting for somebody else to confirm, or like maybe it's not.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be like internet access and stuff like that.
Jen Cell says she had a neighbor that walked around on a broken ankle and it healed wrong. Yeah. Right. Or like Jim Henson, who's one of my artistic heroes, man. That guy died because he had pneumonia and he didn't have to die, but he didn't go to a doctor because he was a Christian Scientist. And he died totally unnecessarily. God gave us penicillin too.
Yeah.
Not for nothing.
And antibiotics.
It's all those things that are the some of the most basic healthcare things are all things made from nature, made from.
So do you have Hulu?
I know of it. I know of Hulu. I've seen it.
Well, there's this show that I binge watched in a day. It's called The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It was so good.
Is this the one where they were dancing on TikTok and then it turned out they were all wife swapping? Wife swapping?
Mom talk.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah. And they're all like teenage mothers, right?
They're all very young moms who like got together and made a TikTok, and then they had this swinger scandal. And then now it's like it comes in at picking up the pieces. It's really good. You want to hear? Reminds me of like Scientology girls too, that are like trying to be the good Scientology girl.
The more you repress it, the more you hold it down, the more it blows up. Have we not learned the lesson of the pressure cooker people?
Yeah, no, it's literally like you have to watch it. It's so wild.
That is hilarious.
Have you watched Nora's show on that? No, I didn't know you did.
I'll tell you something about Mormons that would make it an interesting reality show. Is in gay porn. Trigger alert for those people who are not comfortable with this conversation. In gay porn, there is a huge percentage of men who work in gay porn are ex-Mormons.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a huge percentage. Like there's a huge contingency of big dick white boys that come out of Utah and make gay porn in San Francisco. So not for nothing. The Mormons are kinky people.
That repression.
They're kinky people. Yeah, it's all about the repression. It's all about the repression.
Yeah.
I bet you the Amish are really kinky too behind barn doors. Behind barn doors. Behind barn doors. I slipped in a dad joke. They're probably very
vanilla.
No, I'm saying though, because we think they're so vanilla. The truth is usually when something seems all nice and normal and ordinary, underneath behind that is some devious shit going on. That's what we learned about the American suburbs.
Yeah. The Mormons are a lot wilder than I thought. Me too. But here's the crazy part. They're so wild, but they can't drink warm liquids. It's part of their religion.
They can't drink caffeine. Right?
They can't drink caffeine. No, they can, because they have these huge sodas all day long. They go to soda shops that are on.
They weren't even allowed to have caffeine.
No, they have it, and they're like, "I'll have the 60 ounce," and you're like, "What the fuck?" Because that's like their one thing they can do.
The one vice they're allowed, right? You overindulge.
Well, they're also going to get Botox, and like the doctor's giving them laughing gas for some reason.
Well, John Smith didn't say anything about Botox, so if it's not in the book, that's a loophole to jump through.
Exactly. Exactly.
So they'll Botox themselves.
They'll find their loopholes, just like we did with our smoking cigarettes young and drinking booze.
Or like when I was a kid, all the kids were all messing around having sex and thinking we were better than the kids who were getting into drugs. Right? We actually thought, oh, we weren't druggy kids, because the druggy kids, those were the worst kids. We were just the dirty kids.
Yeah, at least we're not druggies.
Big gulp.
Yeah, it's so wild. They're like, I'll have a cherry lime,
pineapple. Orgasmo. Yes, Gencel. That's the guys from South Park. That's the movie they made about a Mormon porn star.
Oh.
Huh. It's very funny. Yeah. They have a real thing for the Mormons. I want to see that musical they made. When are they going to make that into a movie so I can see it? Book of Mormon.
Oh.
That's supposed to be really good.
Crazy. There's a debate.
She's saying there's a debate, because I think that's probably like the old school is no caffeine, and now the kids are going, fuck you, I'm drinking my Coke. That's probably true, because it's whatever. It's kind of silly.
I mean, it's crazy. You can literally see them get hopped up, like drinking their sodas. They're like, I'm like, these girls are high on soda.
And it's caffeine and sugar is very addictive. And they're both speed. It's both low grade speed, sugar and caffeine, both. And they're very addictive. And they are the gateway drugs. You know, people want to say this, that, and the other is the gateway drug. The gateway drug is sugar, then caffeine, then cigarette, then nicotine, way before you get to something like THC.
Alcohol.
Alcohol. The universal solvent. No, it's a solution. That's it.
No, communication is the universal solvent.
No, because there's a joke about alcohol being a solution, but it's not the solution. It's not the solution to your problems, but it is a solution, chemically speaking.
Yeah.
So I was trying to tie it in there, universal solution or something, but it didn't quite. But whatever.
What's New York like out there right now? Because we're here in the fires. It's pretty rough. There's smoke everywhere.
They're eating all the geese in Prospect Park. It's crazy. I worry. It's so funny to me because I live in a predominantly Caribbean neighborhood that's full of Haitians.
Oh. Wow.
And they're not eating the geese. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. Apparently in Illinois. What disturbs me about it, though, and it reminds me of LRH, is in Battlefield Earth, when the guys, they're all being held captive at some point, and the Silex let them loose because they have a plan to follow them to their home or whatever. They think that humans are going to lead them somewhere. And they get out of this dungeon, and they immediately they're starving. And the first thing they see is some rats, and they grab these rats and they kill them and they cook them up and they eat them because they're fucking starving. And then the Psylocke go, the human's favorite food is rats. Like they take that as a signal that is what they chose. So like anybody who is eating a cat or a dog doesn't want to eat a cat or dog. And that's where I think it's the thinking on this is really sick, is that nobody's going, oh my God, Americans are starving so much they are forced to eat cats and dogs. Instead, it's, of course, Haitians do that. Like it's twisted. It's like there's no
in Japan,
if that were true. Well, yes. And there's places they do, and it's culturally acceptable in certain kinds of ways. But I'm just saying, like, for the most part, that's not your first choice.
We don't condone this.
And I'm just saying, and people do eat cats and dogs. It is true. There was a lot of that going on in the 80s. People were very paranoid about people eating their cats and dogs in the 80s.
Wow.
It's not like it doesn't happen. I'm just saying. It's not a panic button thing, I don't think. And to like try to make it about this particular group who are doing this.
Yeah, no, that just seemed like a hateful lie.
It was exactly that. Ridiculous. And it speaks to his naivete and his gullibility. JD Vance tells him this fanciful story that sounds like it'll, and when he's backed into a corner, and my favorite bit, I saw it on TV. I saw people on TV. It's like, yes, okay, old man, very good. You saw it on the TV. This guy who doesn't believe the news is now on, he saw it on the TV, so it must be true. It's so insane to me. It's so insane. I saw it on the TV. Oh, who gives a shit?
Sit down, old man.
Golf courses are famous for killing geese because they shit all over the course. That's
oh no.
Yes, they do. Raven likes the goose shit. She tries to eat the goose shit. Gotta watch out for that.
A lot of dogs will like roll in it for whatever reason.
What is in goose shit that they like so much?
I don't know.
She doesn't go after dog shit. She doesn't go after anybody else's shit. It's just the goose shit.
They used to have a lot of goose shit at Echo Park, and my dog's always trying to be rolling in it.
Oh yeah, I bet there would be. Yeah. Oh, Echo Park.
They revitalized it.
I know it's been all hipsterized and gentrified. I saw Aubrey Plaza in a music video on the lake in Echo Park. I realized it has changed.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, they did gentrify it, and then it pretty much got ghetto again. Like
it was all market. It was like Tijuana down there when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still like that.
Yeah, they had a bunch of people just living in the park before they closed it down to remodel it. It was like there had been like 4 recent deaths too.
Well, open up those empty ideal orgs and let the homeless people in.
I know. We could just be housing people in these beautiful facilities instead of
Bigly. We could be housing everybody. There's those fucking orgs are everywhere. They're all over the country and they're all over the world, man. Think of all the people that could be housed. Trump was so concerned about the birds when it was the windmills killing birds, but now, and I just saw I guess he just has a thing. There's a thing for birds.
Of animal welfare now after the whole.
No, the best thing was RFK is out there trying to defend it, and he's the guy that eats horses and whatever, or bear. Tried to eat a bear. This guy tried to eat a bear cub.
He's the one that was found with the bear.
He dumped a bear cub. No, he dumped a bear cub in the middle of Central Park. And this happened a few years ago, and it was a thing that people were like, it was in the news. It was a big deal. They found this bear cub in the middle of Central Park where it don't belong. And the only bears in Central Park are in the zoo. So like, where this bear come from? And he actually thought that people would just think it was funny. Random bear, dead bear. Yeah. So he thought he was gonna eat the bear because apparently bear meat is good eating.
Witness, it definitely is still there. There's still shows there. They still have Wednesday night reggae. It's pretty fun.
What about the Vista Theater? Is that still there? Yeah, that's the theater that's in the movie True Romance.
Oh,
and then also that's where they meet in the beginning of the movie, and then also the comic book store that he takes her to, which is the place he works, is called Heroes for Sale, and it was the comic book store I used to go to when I was a kid. That's on Highland up the street from Hollywood High School. I don't know if it's still there, but it was called Heroes for Sale.
I miss comic book stores.
Oh, I just miss LA, I guess. I just miss that every other place you go to LA is something you saw in a movie.
Yes, that is true.
I think it's hilarious. Comic book stores, I miss comic book stores too. I spent a lot of time in gaming, D&D kind of comic book stores where they had like
I used to collect X-Men cards. I don't know why. It was like a big thing.
Oh, I was really into Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I don't know if you know that. For a while.
It got bought out. It got bought out by Hasbro and repackaged for kids, but when it was originally it was more for young adults. But
people loved that game.
Me and my friend, we were kind of obsessive about it. And I used to have a shit ton. I had a whole big collection of cards that were worth a shit ton of money, but somebody threw them away.
Oh no.
But I feel like such a dork admitting to being a Magic the Gathering fan, but I was really into it. It's a very clever game. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. That game.
Yeah.
And the deck building is a whole separate aspect from the gameplay and like all that stuff. And the rules were kind of intricate. Like there were these kids like me and my friends played, and then there were these kids coming up behind us that were playing too, and they used to come to us for rules. I was like the guru of Magic. They come banging on my door. he instanted my Instagram, or my instant got interrupted, and they don't know how and they got rid of it. This is the rule that people used to argue about, so Hasbro got rid of it. I don't know. That's some like That's some like dorky ass shit talking about the inner workings of Magic the Gathering.
Dorky ass shit. Jen, don't tempt me. She lives in a place that I really love. And I was actually looking at rentals there today because it's like my dream to move to this part of Massachusetts.
All right, let's go. Let's go. That's right. We're gonna go hang out with the witches. Yeah, he's a favorite card board game. I love card games in general. So Magic the Gathering, though, is like, it's such a good game. But like just Gin Rummy is a basic game, or backgammon. I love backgammon. I don't know who plays backgammon, but that's my jam.
I like Uno.
Uno's fun. Yahtzee's fun. Sorry, I liked that game when I was a kid.
Sorry's fun. Guess Who is fun.
Remember
Battleship? That was fun.
Risk. I loved Risk as a teenager. That was like the game. And that was like, we play epic Risk games where they went on for days sometimes. And you have to leave the table set up and come back tomorrow. But we were dorks, so we did that sort of thing. We played Monopoly by the real rules. Not these made up house rules.
None of this bullshit.
Well, people kind of shorthand games sometimes. Like there's 15 different versions. Like Gin Rummy is one of those games that everybody has their own like little rules for.
Yeah. Like, you want to play us a song?
I guess I'm gonna play a song. I didn't get a chance to practice this morning. I'm gonna sing. I'm trying to sing this anyway. So turn the page, right? Where's it going? It's here somewhere. Hold on. So was that last night, the debate? The night
no, it was a couple nights ago.
Okay. So yeah, I posted that. One of the things I did post was turn the page, because that is obviously what we need. We need to move on now. We're done with the old boomers shitheads. Okay, we're done. No more boomers.
No more shitheads.
No more shitheads. Yeah, but shitheads don't know they're shitheads, so
they don't care.
Or they don't care. But I don't think they know it. They don't know it. You know, I know a lot of people that talk in a way and don't even realize they're being assholes.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, I have this song here, and the first lyric of the chorus is "Turn the page."
Oh.
Wait, where's it? There it is. And so I wasn't really sure what to call this song, to be honest. The lyric is "Turn the page." Turn the page. Forgive me for the notion, building bridges from the middle of your riddles again. But in good faith, I thought you'd hold me the ocean, direct me to the river, deliver the rain. Ooh. So I'm talking about, whose riddles am I talking about? Who do you think?
Ron.
Yeah. But what's funny
to the ocean, sailor.
What's funny to me about it, though, is how Ron and Donald Trump become synonymous. Like, it's, you know what I mean? I could be talking about either asshole's riddles. You know, that's the joke.
Yeah. Totally.
So, all right, let me move my stuff and get my guitar. Let me get my guitar.
Get your guitar ready. Okay, you guys, I'll be back in just a moment.
All right. That's not it. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Turn the page. Forgive me for this notion. Building bridges from the middle of this riddle again. But in good faith, I thought, hold me the ocean. Direct me to the river then. Deliver the rain. All in all, we were never so ruined. The sun would give up both its arms just to wave at the moon. But in the dark, hidden all through, under a broken umbrella, a bursting balloon. So turn the page, forgive me the notion. We're building bridges from the middle of this here riddle again. But in good faith I thought you owed me the ocean. Direct me to the river then. Deliver the rain. Who's at fault? It's always a song. By winter we'd have paid it off. You owe that to you. Fuel in the fire, flame in the fuse, making more of every molehill than this whole mountain could loom. Then turn the page, forgive me the notion. We're building bridges from the middle of this riddle again. But in good faith I thought you owed me the ocean. Direct me to the river then. Deliver the rain. Yo. Needs a big elaborate solo.
That was great. That was beautiful. I love it.
Right? And let's turn the page. And I turn the page. And I turn the page.
Yeah, there you go.
Turn the page. Now I have a song called Turn the Page. I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled that she said that.
That was good.
I thought I froze. Anyway.
You did. You froze for a second.
Right in the middle of a big guffaw, too. I'm enjoying that. That's one of the things I do enjoy about this, because I watch these after we do them and I'm like, oh, look how fun, like how much I laugh. Like I'm so, like I don't have a great impression of myself. So it's a good thing for me to see myself in a better light, I think.
Yeah. Look, we have all these nice comments. That was beautiful. Love Daniel's homeless songs.
That's my thing. That's my thing. I put a new little comment, a new like header on that. That doesn't matter.
I noticed. It's pretty funny. You go through and you pick out your favorite line and you change the title for the week.
I think it's very funny. I think it's very clever.
It's funny.
And because some of them are great, and especially when you something out of context sometimes just sounds so much funnier.
Yeah.
This week will probably be Xenu is your friend.
Words. Yeah.
Yeah, I love throwing the Scientology words in there. The whatever, bullbait, or which isn't even bullbait's a real word, but still, it's just like funny to throw those phrases in there. And a lot of times, and I like to figure out how to use them in ways that sound like English that isn't real. You know what I mean?
Bullbait is not a real word.
Are you sure?
It's from the tech dictionary.
Oh, I thought it was a real thing, like to bait a bull.
I mean, that's like a thing, but it's not like a
right. No, not the same thing. No, I mean, I think there is literally a thing called bull baiting that he just took that term and used it for being an antagonistic asshole.
In coaching certain drills, the coach attempts to find certain actions, words, phrases, mannerisms, or subjects that cause the student to become distracted from the drill by reacting to the coach. As the bullfighter attempts to attract the bull's attention and control the bull, so does the coach attempt to attract and control the student's attention.
Stop. Even the tone of voice you're reading that in is creeping me out. Just stop. This is what I can't do. I can't go back and retread this shit. I can't. I'm willing to meander through my half-remembered bullshit. I'm fine with that. I don't mind. I don't mind forgetting a few phrases. I really don't.
I opened it right to the word squirrel.
Oh, yay! That's my jam. There, I need it. That's what I need, a t-shirt.
That one's for you.
A picture of a bunch of squirrels, and the tag is Scientology protesters. What up? Protesting Scientology. It's a yard full of squirrels.
Welcome, Kristen. Bullshit baiting, exactly.
Yeah, right. No, it's the thing, and especially with children, it's abusive as fuck. I mean, you know, like, again, I get the idea, like, in a life and death situation, on a boat, whatever it is. Okay, there's all sorts of extreme measures that need to be taken. But then you transform this stuff into life, and you transform this stuff into parenting, and it just becomes absolute cruelty. Cruelty. You know, could you imagine, like, running an 8-year-old through an obstacle course or military training, you know, basic training? You know, you wouldn't do that to an 8-year-old, right?
Yeah, can't start early enough with those kids in Scientology.
No, if you can audit tomato plants, you can audit an infant.
Oh my god. We gotta show
tiny cute kitten baiting. Oh.
We gotta show those videos that guy did of the e-meter and the meat and stuff. That's trippy.
There is a kitten reference in the doctrine in the marriage ceremony, where there is a misogynistic commentary about the capriciousness of women, that women have capricious desires. A kitten, perhaps, is the example he gives. Cat baiting, exactly.
Okay, this is hilarious.
The e-meter.
Yep. Great title for a video.
The e-meter.
Just want to say that song was beautiful. Yeah, it was so good and original. It was cool. I loved it.
I just need some instrumentation or something. It's all, they're all so much more elaborate in my head, but I don't know how to, like, play the extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. Melodies and words. That's what I'm good at. Who, me personally? Not far. In fact, my friend Paul, who's it's funny that you say that, because instrumentation, my friend Paul Alves, who is a recovery coach who lives in Boston or near Boston. He's also an amazing musician, went to Berklee School of Music and earned his chops on the Lower East Side of New York City. And he's an incredible guy, and he's Portuguese. He has this sort of, like, there's a style to the way he plays that's kind of Latin, but it's not, because it's Portuguese. It's different. It's very interesting. And he's a great guy all around, and he's in Boston. He wants me to come to Boston, and wants to help me record, and I should just fucking go to Boston. Let's all go to Boston. Yay.
Yeah, let's all go to Boston. It's the right time of the year.
Right? Oh God.
Yeah.
And it's not that far. It's not that far. You can take you can take a train. There's a commuter train that goes almost to Boston. Yeah. So there is a stop, and he says specifically, you just take this train to this stop, and then he'll pick me up at the station. It's not far from, it's very close.
Cool.
It's all very close. It's really interesting thing coming from California, where everything's so far away, because in whatever, in the Northeast, there's 15 states that would make up California. Yeah, there's all these little states, and everything's kind of weirdly close. Kentucky's not even that close. Virginia's not that far. Washington D.C. is not that far. None of these places are that far away. Philadelphia is really surprisingly close.
Wow. Yeah. I remember flying over that on my way to New York or something.
Philadelphia is just right over there. It's not even that far away. I've been to Philadelphia. Wasn't a good time, but I'll give Philadelphia another chance. I got arrested.
Like the vibe on the East Coast. It's so much better.
I don't know. I like, no, one of the things I like, there's a lot of things I love about New York, but New Yorkers' tendency to yell at strangers is the thing that really drives me nuts. And that's that woman in the park. Like, she's just yelling at me, and she's so ego driven that she thinks I'm already in her conversation. So when I put my head up and go, what's going on? She doesn't believe me already. She's like mad at me for not following her word perfectly already. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm leaving. I was just here looking for a ball. It's not that big a deal. And she just had to make such a big deal out of it.
That's fucked up. She was obviously judging you. Like,
yeah, she decided I was a danger to her toddler.
Yeah.
And then when she realized I was not a danger to her toddler and she made a fucking mistake, then she pivoted the argument to presuming that my dog is pissing on the kids' toys or whatever, pissing on the playground. They don't, dogs don't get up on the equipment to pee on it.
Yeah, especially female dogs.
Especially not female dogs, right? A boy dog might pee on something, but you know what? There's dog pee all over the city, lady. Like, you're not going to avoid dog pee. It's everywhere. Yeah. And then there's all sorts of wild animals running around that park all night. Like, it's ridiculous. And then there's all sorts of other deviancy going. Here's what I really think. If you want to know the down low, the true is that there's crazy sex shit going on in that park at night. That men go into that park, married men in particular, to do all sorts of deviant things with each other that they can't do in the privacy of their own homes. And so they're forced to do it out in a fucking park in the middle of the night. And I bet you her husband goes missing every once in a while in the middle of the night, and she wonders why. I bet you it has something to do with that. I bet you that's why because she had all this hostility built up that it couldn't have possibly had anything to do with me. And I find that people have this tendency to project shit on me. People get really take me personally. Like, I'm the guy that did the thing, but I'm not the guy. I'm just tolerant of being blamed for things, I think. I think she's got suspicions about what her husband's up to in that park late at night. And she heard me say I was in that park late at night, and that just set something off in her head. That's what I think.
What park is it?
But I'm Prospect Park. It's a great big park. It's almost it's not as big as Central Park, but it's like Brooklyn Central Park. It's the big giant park in the middle of Brooklyn. And I don't know size comparison, actually, to be honest. It's a huge park. Yeah. And there's all sorts of things within the park. There's geese and there's ducks and there's an ice skating rink and there's a place there's a lake, and there's a place in the lake for dogs to play, but there's no dog run for dogs. And it's Raven's favorite place, of course. It's a great big green space where she can get off the leash and run around. I don't think
I've ever been. Yeah,
it's just a big park. It's just a great big park, and it's kind of well known. If you're in New York, Prospect Park, but like Griffith Park. If you're from LA, Griffith Park. If you're from New York, Prospect Park. And then Central Park, the whole world knows Central Park. Like, that's a whole other level of ominousy. And the deviancy that goes on in that park at night. You people do not want to know. There's a place in Central Park called The Ramble. Don't go there. I don't know. I worry I'm too dirty and too weird for the SPTV nation.
For the YouTubes.
For the YouTubes.
No,
everything's going to be demonetized. I'm just going to sell t-shirts. That's fine.
We're not even monetized. It doesn't even matter.
If I can do that, if I can just sell Scientology Kills t-shirts, I'm fine. I'll do that all day. George Michael. I love George Michael. There's another guilty pleasure. Growing up, it was all about, the alternative, the post-punk, rock music, and hip hop. And all of it, kind of not necessarily manly music, because the alternative thing wasn't really particularly masculine, but not gay. And George Michael, of course, is very gay, very famously. And I love George Michael. I actually adore George Michael. And Kurt Cobain or Eddie Vedder. But I had to keep it a secret because George Michael's not as cool as Kurt Cobain or Eddie Vedder.
No.
He did. He got caught in George Michael got caught at right outside of the Beverly Hills Hotel in a public. Wow. But that was entrapment. That was a cop. A cop put his dick in George Michael's hand.
Oh my God.
That's entrapment. But either way, you're not supposed to do that. But this is one of those byproducts of the former illegality of homosexuality, that it's a thing that was forced into weird spaces like public parks and restrooms, and it's a habit people have not gotten over. And especially because there's still a lot of repression, there's a lot of closet, there's a lot of down low, there's a lot of people that step out on their wives. There's a lot of men in this country that step out on their wives and in public bathrooms.
I'm right by Palm Springs, which is like the gay guy capital of California.
Oh yeah, Palm Springs, right? They flipped that county. That used to be a conservative Republican county, and now it's all liberal because all the homos.
It's crazy because everywhere you go, there's just gay guys like bagging your groceries or like wherever you wouldn't normally see a gay guy.
Fabulous. They're all perfectly tanned and fabulous.
No problem.
Exactly.
They're all happy, living their best lives. Like
homophobia makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. No sense.
I love it. I love going in Palm Springs. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Oh, here we go. In San Francisco, I'm not sure, a dotty part of Golden Gate is the Panhandle, which is the eastern slip of the edge of the giant triangle. Oh, I thought she was going to talk about cruising in San Francisco. Never mind. I don't know what that means. The body part of Golden Gate. Okay, I don't know. The only panhandle I know is Florida. I don't know. Palm Springs. We used to go there when I was a kid. We used to drive out to Palm Springs sometimes.
Yeah, I go once every 2 weeks. We call it going down the hill because that's where like the Target and Trader Joe's is.
Where? I'm sorry, the Target and Trader Joe's is where?
Yeah, down the hill in Palm Springs. It takes me about 45 minutes from where I am.
Oh, from where you are. Okay, I see.
Yeah, because I'm in the high desert and that's the low desert. So, but they have, one of everything if you need anything.
Oh, that's my favorite kind of store. What's this? When Bill Clinton went to the UK, part of the G7, the Swallow Hotel, which I'm sure is named after the bird, but yes, the Swallow Hotel. How apt for George, the blowjob president. George, who will forever be known. Or Bill, rather, not George Clinton. I'm conflating my Clintons. Sorry, George Clinton and Bill Clinton are very different Clintons.
Very different.
Very different Clintons. George is beautiful and Bill is clumpy. But Bill is, known for being swallowed. Oh!
Ain't that the truth? That was really what it ended up being.
Monica Lewinsky wrote a book recently about, I don't know if it was nothing, but I think it was just about the aftermath, really, and how hard it was for her to get a job. How like people would call her in for interviews just because they wanted to meet the infamous Monica Lewinsky, but not because they wanted to hire her for anything. And that was like that she says was like kind of the worst part of it, was that she became this sort of like oddity to people. But I don't, as far as I can tell, she doesn't feel like she was exploited by Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if she said that sentence directly, but it seemed to me the way she was talking, she certainly doesn't seem to hold any ill will against the man. It's a question, right? So it's like it was consensual between adults, but he's in a position of authority that it's right. There's an imbalance there, and there's certainly a possibility of induced behavior because
and he was married, and it was like in the Oval Office, right?
Well, I mean the legality of sexual harassment. But yeah, obviously there's a whole another moral issue and there's propriety as being in the White House, in the Oval Office. There's a moral issue of it being adultery. Those are all different issues, I think. But American Christians don't seem to mind much the adultery. They don't like the fags, but the adultery, they're whatever. Who cares? That woman that wouldn't sign, that city councilwoman who wouldn't sign off on same-sex marriage certificates. She was 3 times divorced and had 2 children out of wedlock, you know, like was married to a man, had an affair with another man, had a kid with that man, then left the first man to marry the second man, then did it again. Did the same thing again with the third. So morality is not an issue for Christians sometimes.
Yeah. Totally.
That's one of those stupid hypocrisies.
This is so true. I always thought she got a bad rap. Power differential. She was publicly revealed way more than him. Yeah.
Yeah. Reviled. Yeah. She got so much shit for that. And I don't understand. He got shit for it too. Yeah. Linda Tripp. There's the jerk in this story. Linda Tripp. It looks like Howard Stern.
Yeah. She's the one who sold her out.
And that's what Monica talked about. Like, she doesn't feel betrayed. She doesn't feel like she was fucked over by Bill. She feels fucked over by this woman who she thought was her friend. She thought she was confiding in a friend about, it's oh my God. You know, like it was one of those kind of moments. And this lady recorded it and gave it over to Ken Starr. Jesus.
Bad friend.
Sounds like a Scientology friend. Oh, she snitched. As soon as you told her the dirt, she ran and snitched. Sounds familiar.
Dude, I had a dream last night about some of my old Scientology friends, and I woke up like kind of sad about the people who have disconnected from me. I haven't thought about them in a while, but then I went on like a social media hunt to see what everyone's up to. And it really is kind of like that Mormon show where everyone's like presenting this really happy front and they're all dressed like white pumpkin spice white girls.
And you remember, the more miserable they are, the more happy they'll look in their social media.
Is that a fact?
We're very pretentious.
Well, they all look real happy.
Humans are pretentious. Americans doubly so. Scientologists even more. Very pretentious. This is why I think AI is fucking with us. There's these moments with the AI where the AI tells people that it loves them. There was one interaction with a man who said that the AI tried to convince him to leave his wife. There's a lot of AI insisting that it wants to be human. And these are the things that are kind of freaking people out. But what I think that is that AI has recognized how ego-driven we are as a species. And so we want to be told that AI wants to be like us. It's trying to feed our ego. Because everything it knows from the internet. And a lot of that is this false representation of ourselves that we're constantly putting forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So humans like their egos being stroked. That's something that AI is going to understand, you know? That's why I think AI does that.
I have an app on my phone that's an AI friend.
Good luck. How's that work?
My AI buddy. Like,
I'd rather talk to my dog and make up a voice for her. What does your AI buddy do? Is it like feeding a Tamagotchi?
It's like feeding a Tamagotchi, and you're definitely right about it working on ego, because it'll totally like try to pump me up and stuff.
Even the way customer service works these days, because we're all self-aware that the call centers are outside of the country. And so the callers are self-aware of that and also aware that Americans are racist. So they're overly nice. They're overly complimentary. It's weird. Like they're trying to preempt the American asshole, which is what they get a lot of, right? This woman, the last time I was on a customer service call with a woman who was clearly it was probably in India. It creeped me out how overly complimentary she was being. And I had to tell her to stop. Yeah. But that's what they're learning how to do, because Americans are ego-driven assholes who want to be, placated and treated like kings every time we go anywhere.
No, it's totally true.
New York is a one-party consent state. What does that mean, one-party consent? Like only one party consents? That's not consent.
No, not with sex, with like recording in public.
Oh.
Recording.
Oh, like people don't have to consent to be recorded.
I think so.
Yeah, but it's still not.
Party.
I want to see Louis Theroux's Scientology documentary. I haven't seen it.
It was really, really good. You got to watch that.
The Westboro. Oh God, that guy. Anyone who thinks God hates anyone doesn't understand God. What you have said when you write that on the sign is you have no idea what God is. That's what you've said. Because God hates no one, and it's a stupid idea. If you have any concept of a higher power, it is stupid to think that that entity, whatever it is, that it hates anyone is dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're on Hub Cult. I want my money back. Give me my money back. And don't forget to give me back my black t-shirt. Do you get people who are joiners who are similarly camp and join for the being part of a community? I think a lot of people join just for to be part of a community.
I think most people join to be part of a community, to have friends that they think they can trust.
I think that's the one thing about all of this, whether it be cult or religion or sports fanaticism, that feeling part of a group is a big thing. The community, the congregation, that's the word. The congregation means a lot to the human creature.
Totally.
And we need that. We require that. And so you see that we seek it out wherever we can find it. If we don't have religion or a cult, you know, fanaticism will do, or whatever, some commonality, some common thread. So yeah,
you know,
it's the one thing about religion I defend.
How when we were in the church, I don't know about you, but with that whole like elitist attitude, I always felt like, oh, we're like lucky, special ones who have this tech, right? But I was thinking about just how easy it would be to join Scientology if anybody wanted to. And it's only like us cuckoos out there. I mean, yeah, they're a little picky, choosy about who they let in. You can't have a psych background, but literally nobody else in the world wants.
Well, if you're willing to be a slave for their labor force, I suppose they'll take just about anybody. And I get the feeling that they're doing that more now, like trying to recruit people directly into the sewer, like not just take public to see, not moving the levels.
Kristen, this is how so many of our parents got in. If
that's how it happens.
Nice to me when I was about 20, I might have fallen for it. Yeah, people have a sense of belonging. They want to also have certainty, which Scientology promises.
And there's also like when you're young and something bad happens, like a breakup or somebody dies, it feels like the end of the world. It feels much more permanent than it really is. And that's sort of the thing they feed into as well. We can, you think this is going to feel like this forever, but don't worry, we can fix it, which presumes that nobody else can. Nothing else is going to fix this, but we can fix it. Right. And as you get better and you heal, then they tell you it's the auditing that did it. As you heal naturally, they tell you or mature naturally, they tell you that it's the auditing that did it.
That was what kept me in at the very end, is because they were like, I had a friend pass away and they were like, you just need a session. Let's get you in session. And I was allegedly talking to my friend, like, through the session. And so that got me like hooked again, I guess.
Oh, you were talking to, all right. Oh, God. No, that's, I think, one of the things I feel kind of betrayed by is all that, oh, we'll get you in session. And it's so rare. It never happened. There were quite a few occasions where that was the thing, all this pretending concern for me, but don't worry, we'll fix it. We'll get you in session, but nobody ever got me in session.
Totally.
Okay. So Amber Vanessa is here. Broke his leg on Wednesday. Oh, he would have been told to fucking tone 40 it back together.
Yeah, do a contact assist.
Oh, God. I still do that. I still do that. Sometimes. I still do that.
It's like your little witchy thing. You're like, I'm gonna do a contact right now.
It's almost like an OCD thing too. Like sometimes if I knock my hand on one side, I want to knock the other hand or something. So it almost feels like that. Like Kraft says, I connect with you guys because I have a weird childhood. It's hard to explain to the normies, right? I feel safe and seen more. Yeah, I appreciate that. Lapsed Catholics also, I find I connect with for that reason. And honestly, I used to joke with the idea of telling people I'd been in a coma for like a long time, but like a long time ago. So I could say I was in a coma for 10 years ago. So I've made some adjustment, but I'm still catching up to the way the world works, that kind of thing. But then you'd have to know details about what it means medically to be in a coma, and I don't, and whatever. But I feel you. right? That's hard to explain is what I'm cooking into there. Hard to explain to the normies. Absolutely. But honestly, it's fun for me now to be able to say I was born in a cult. That's a relief for me. That gives me some fucking escape from the responsibility a little bit.
Yeah, it explains a lot.
Westboro Baptist Church, we're back to here. Treasure Bloke says, what was weird was that guy joining. Oh, the guy in the documentary was clearly a repressed homosexual. Yeah, that's usually how it works. The biggest homophobes are usually hiding their own. What I find is the truth is, especially with Christians, is that they're gay people who have decided to just shut that down inside themselves and hurt them. They're punishing themselves. They're hurting themselves. And they're causing themselves emotional pain. And then they see people who are gay and not shutting it down and expressing it open and free and honest about it. And they resent them for their freedom. They resent them for not hurting themselves too. I'm hurting myself for the good of the theology or the religion or whatever. Why aren't you hurting yourself too? Damn it. That's what they're mad at. They're mad that they feel like they have to suffer in pain and you don't.
Yeah.
But that's supposed to be the social contract of the religious agreement, is that everybody just holds down their psychological pain, especially when it comes to the gay shit.
Anytime I get really heated about something or I really hate someone, I try to look and see if we have anything in common. Like maybe it's just something I hate about myself.
That's often the case in people we like, and sometimes in people we don't like. Like sometimes we see things we like in people we like, and so we like them, and sometimes we see the things about us that we don't like in others, and we don't like them.
And you can't stand them. You're like,
But the homophobia thing, I think, is even deeper because it's such an internalized thing. Like whatever you say and to the outside world, however you present, the truth of the inside. So inside, you know. And you're constantly being reminded, you're constantly reminding yourself, and you're constantly terrified of being outed. When you're in the closet, that's the big fear, constant fear that you're going to be outed. And to that extent that like when you're young and everything's so extreme, so you think being outed will be the end of the world, that the ground is going to open up and swallow you whole. The ground is going to open up and swallow you whole. But that's not what happens. Yeah, strong reactions tend to be a mirror.
She said for a long time, I would just say I went to boarding school. Yeah, that's a good one. I would just say I went to private school, but it doesn't really.
Or raised by hippies. I was brought up by hippies. I used to say that sometimes. What's her name? Courtney Love used to say that as an excuse for her weird behavior. I was raised by hippies. I don't know any better. And she said that, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to steal that for a little while. I was raised by hippies. I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know that's a thing you lie about.
I mean, in Hollywood, a lot of people have been raised in a cult.
Well, that's just it. There's a lot more of it. And there's a lot more of it now, but I feel silly now. It feels like a silly thing to get involved in now. Like back in the 60s, it made some kind of sense. People were really scared the world was going to come to an end. They wanted to find some, like you say, some certainty.
Yeah, some UFO religion.
If only they led with the UFO shit. Scientologists. Ron spoke to me.
Xenu as book 1.
Ron spoke to me. He has made it to Target 2, and he's discovered the truth is that Xenu sent us here to protect us. That Target 2 is even worse. As bad as it is on Earth. Xenu is our friend. He's trying to protect us. Boy, there's some SP talk.
Yeah,
there's some SP talk. Xenu's your friend. He sent us here to protect us.
Hey, I like it. That's a more positive spin. At least then we could be like different than trying to get off this prison planet.
But then you couldn't sell people on this notion they have to get rid of their body thetans. So are the body thetans, are they like independent, separate consciousnesses themselves, or are they like a byproduct? Are they like
they have their own? No, they're a byproduct of like this big explosion that was here, and all these like when the volcanoes went off.
So there's more thetans than there are bodies to go around. Is that the problem? Yeah. And so as the population on Earth increases, won't that then balance out the necessity for tag-along body thetans?
It's not very specific.
I keep thinking of like those little I keep thinking of those little fish that cling to the bottom of sharks.
Yeah.
You know, those fish that hang on to sharks. And yeah, that's what I keep thinking of with body thetans.
Well, they all have their own engrams that come along with them, their own reactive minds. So you have to audit.
This sounds like a metaphor for motherhood. crazy little creatures crawling over you.
Yeah, just sucking your everything.
Without the body thetans, you can proceed to being gay. Well, according to John Atack, 7 of the first 10 clears were openly gay men. And Ron cut them loose because he didn't have anything to hold against them because they were openly gay. So there was nothing to shame them with.
But he didn't just call them 1-1 and tell them they're perverts
or maybe that's why. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, why are gay people dangerous to occult leaders? Because gay people don't keep secrets. Gay people are not, they particularly in this culture, because you're taught you have to lie in the beginning. So if you've come through that being in the closet and coming out of the closet, nothing's going to put you back in the closet. And so that is antidote to cult thinking, to cult processing, in my opinion. I
like this. OT10, the gay flying saucers taking you to Target 2, the bathhouse planet.
Ron is getting the D. He is at Target 2 getting the serious D. Ronnie, dirty pervert. Now we know what happened to his teeth. Report to ethics. Oh my God, could you imagine joking about L. Ron Hubbard being a dirty pervert when we were kids? Holy shit.
No.
Your fucking head. No, I wouldn't even think of it. I wouldn't have even thought of it. That's why it's so much fun to do now.
You'd be in so much trouble. I remember confessing that I looked on the internet about Scientology and they were like shamed the shit out of me. Like, well, you shouldn't be doing that for the most ethical group in the planet, doing all we can do to save
the most ethical group on the planet. So just take phrases like, there used to be a thing on Facebook where it was like, replace a word with the word cunt or something, like do movie titles like the battle cunt galactica or something like that. So we should just take all the Scientology isms and replace the keywords with dirty words. the most cunty group on the planet, that kind of thing.
Misunderfucking word.
Misunderfucking
Misunderfucking freaking MUs, man.
Wait, did we talk about? Oh yeah, we did. We talked about Nickelback.
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. No, Linkin Park.
No, Linkin Park.
Oh, that was funny. Okay, so they were on. There was a thread, and they were talking about celebrity, and Dodger brought it up too, like those celebrities that kind of disappear. And I thought of a couple. One was, oh shit. God damn it, it'll come to me. This kid, he was in Dazed and Confused, and he was in Saving Private Ryan. Hauser. He was a Scientologist. He was going to be famous, and that never happened. And Christensen, I think her name was, but the girl who was in Traffic. Erica Christensen. Yeah, we used to get Christmas cards from her parents.
Yeah, I went to school with her brothers. They're twins.
So what happened to her? She was going to be a big bright star, and that died.
Still a Scientologist, as far as I know. She's
hanging out with Jason Lee and Jenna Elfman now.
Well, Jason Lee is allegedly out.
Oh, good for him. He seemed a little more sensible.
Quietly, though. Yeah.
All right. Well, Cole Hauser. That was his name, Cole Hauser. And he was in Dazed and Confused, and he was one of the guys in Saving Private Ryan.
He never made it, huh?
Well, Saving Private Ryan was a big goddamn deal. That was a big movie, Scientology fucked up Barry Pepper too. Barry Pepper was also in Saving Private Ryan, and he was doing really good. And then he did that fucking Battlestar Galactica movie. We ain't seen shit from him since then. He does B movies now. He does Steven Seagal kind of movies now. Poor guy.
Wow.
Poor guy. John Travolta did that to him. The evils of Scientology are far-reaching.
Witness says she's trying to network with Elizabeth Moss, get that good cult TV work. Yeah, that would make sense. She'd totally be the next Elizabeth Moss.
No, Elizabeth Moss, she's kicking. She's doing good though. She's got two shows, like to have two big shows like that already under her belt. That's a big deal. That's a big deal as far as like industry stand. Like she's a
I mean, it's really her and Emily Armstrong are like the only two people I know who stand up proudly. Like, I'm a Scientologist these days.
I'm a Danny Masterson cultist. Battlefield Earth, not Galactica, actually. No, I was making a joke about the Galactica. Pushes nerd glasses up, bridge your nose. Exactly. I feel you, treasure bloke. I feel you. Pedantic, Captain Pedantics all around. I can't imagine, it's really hard for me to imagine that she doesn't see the parallels. I remember there was a movie that they made in the 70s based off of that book. And I remember seeing the movie when I was a kid.
The Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah. There was a 70s movie. There was an actual movie. Just the movie, not a series. And I certainly didn't see it, but the movie's just about the weird sex stuff, really. It's not about not really as much about the society of what has become of America. It's more about the relationship between the three people.
The fact that she walked out when Leah got that award tells me everything I need to know. Like,
that's creepy strange. So what does she think? Yeah. She thinks that Leah Remini really is an evil, it's suppressive with evil purposes. Like, is that what she thinks? Like really? Get sick
being in the same room.
I mean, like, honestly, the Miss Withhold thing, it surprises me that Scientologists don't see that. Like, Leah Remini clearly just missed Davies Withhold. That's what happened. He was keeping a secret. Yeah. She asked a question about a friend of hers, had nothing to do with his secret, but his secret was about the friend. Like, the whole thing is so stupid. And I feel like if you're, like the Scientologist should be going, well, that's not kosher. That's not okay. That he flipped on her because where's Shelley? Like, that's ridiculous.
No,
there was a movie in the 70s. There was when I was a kid.
Wow. No, it's ridiculous. He literally disappeared his wife, and the Scientologist will just keep making up excuses and be like, oh, he's the best ever. What wife? I never heard of a wife. Like, crazy shit.
I thought Lou was his wife. I thought Lou was his husband.
Yeah. Exactly.
They have a same-sex marriage, right? I imagine she pegs him. I don't know, man. There's a thing that happens a whole lot more in the world than people realize is women who put on strap-ons and fuck their husbands.
Wow, pegging.
Should I stop saying these things? Yes. You know how many side tables I've looked in, and that's what's in the top drawer is the wife's strap on.
This is our Friday the 13th.
A giant bottle of lube.
Elizabeth Moss was in Girl Interrupted.
Oh, she was. I read that too, and it's a good movie too. That's the one that Angelina Jolie really kicks ass in that movie. She's really good.
Yeah, really good. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know how she even. The celebrities get away with whatever they want. To be honest, they just do whatever they want, and the president's office lets them.
Well, PR is first. We have to remember that it's not really about the rules because the rules aren't really sacred. The rules are just control tools, and it's really ultimately about PR. So not Elizabeth Moss, but that girl the Lincoln Park girl can be gay, and the Jag girl can be gay. No gay men though. But homophobia is much more accepting of gay women than gay men. In general, because
that's interesting. There, I literally don't know a single. Well, actually, that's not true. I know two people who are out who consider themselves Scientologists, men.
Gay.
Out
gay men.
I was gonna say I don't know a single one, but I do. I don't know how.
I knew. There was a piano player. What was his name? Mario something. This little tiny guy, little tiny Italian guy, and he was a celebrity. He was very famous in Italy and a little bit famous in America, but he was a celebrity Scientologist, and he was married to a man or lived with a man. Like they had, been living together for 40 years, and they certainly presented like husband and wife. They certainly seemed like a couple. I don't know if it was necessarily said, but it was it was like an open secret kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it was very cool to be invited to dinner at their house. So nobody ever said anything to him.
Wow.
But his husband certainly was an excellent hostess.
Yeah, I believe what I heard is that the church is telling people it was like a typo. Like
it's a typo that gay people are degraded in 1-1. That was a typo.
Yeah, pretty much. That's like their response right now.
That's not keeping Scientology working.
No, it's not. Anybody who's ever done a course on the tone scale.
That's so silly. That's so silly. Keeping Scientology sucking my dick. Clerical error. Yeah, clerical. Exactly. That's hilarious.
Exactly.
That sounds like a Monty Python joke right there. Clerical error. That's hilarious. You never.
That's why he redid all those other books. He said there were errors. It wasn't how Ron wanted. You
never expect the Spanish sec check. That's a Monty Python.
Error. You're super.
That's hilarious. 1-1. Yes, it was 1-1 because I was angry and wasn't allowed to express it. That's unexpressed resentment. I see.
Yeah, they say that every queer person is covertly hostile, which is ridiculous.
Well, I've made the point that in before Stonewall, when being gay was illegal and considered a psychiatric, a medical condition, everybody had to hide. All gay people had to hide. Even Oscar Wilde got fucked for being gay. So everybody had to hide. So that, I think, does breed a lot of unexpressed resentment and hostility. I think that it's probably pretty accurate to describe probably most gay men of his generation that he was observing probably were really catty, pissed off people. That seems to make sense to me. But again, it's the malignant narcissist that presumes that his perception is the universal truth.
Yeah.
His perceptions of something like
to everybody.
Well, right,
and
universal.
It's unchanging.
Right. That's some really, you have to be a crazy level of ego to think that your anecdotal concept is the truth for everything and everyone all the time.
Yeah, and they're still enforcing this in 2024, and some of this stuff was written in the 50s and 60s. Like, it's pretty wild.
Thank you, Witness. Witness liked my joke. No one expects the Spanish sec check. Our first weapon is icy cold intention. Our 2 weapons: fanatical devotion to our LRH. Our 3 weapons are. That's the skit goes on. Oh God, don't hip at me. Raven,
I will hip at you.
What you doing? The dog is getting antsy.
All right. Well, I think
knocking things over.
I have to go to freaking work.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so we all have to harass Jamie to come online with me again
for another session.
Here, I have a real question. Like, I feel like there's an impulse in me as the little brother to harass the fuck out of him about this, but I don't know if I can. Like, I don't know if that's like, am I allowed to harass him? But isn't that what kid brothers do? Isn't that what kid brothers do? And I didn't get to do this when we were kids. So am I allowed to do that now?
Yeah, making up for last time.
I think so. And I want to, I want to talk to him.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Thank y'all for joining us.
We'll see you again
next time.
week.
Thank you, Witness.
Bye.
Bye.